Hello, everybody, and welcome to our new LinkedIn Live. And guys, you are in for a treat. We have Dave Westcott. Dave, you to me is the serial entrepreneur. Like when I think about a serial entrepreneur, I see you in a picture, and you guys will understand why. Because Dave, you're freaking incredible. You've built companies, you have a podcast, you've done things. I'm going to share with the audience that I got to know you when one of your companies needed some marketing services, and you put out an RFP, and we answered that RFP. We never ended up working together, where we became friends, and I started to see all the incredible stuff that you do. Everybody, please welcome Dave Westcott into our live. And Dave, share about yourself. Take a couple of minutes and let us know, who is Dave Westcott.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show, and I appreciate being on the show. You know, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like I am just a humble guy from humble beginnings that's trying to earn a living, to take care of my family, to live the best life possible. And I try to live with four things in mind: faith, family, fitness, finances, and fun. And I think, you know,
five,
so,
I think.
did I say four? Five. I'm going five.
I love that.
Those are the five top.
Say them again, because I think this is so powerful. And I think, you know, you're a role model to me in a lot of ways. So I would love for you to repeat that. Like give us your five F's.
I go with faith, you know, super important. That's my grounding to God and connection. Family, you know, I'm not here without them, right? Like I'm working hard. I got 3 kids, wife. I love my family. Super important. Fitness. You know, if you see I'm running marathons, a marathon a month for 12 months, that's my goal this year. And fitness, super important to who I am. Finance. None of this happens without money. We got to work hard. We got to grind. And then those first 4 are kind of all obligations. While they're things we enjoy and love to do, they're obligations. So that's why I throw in the 5th F, which is fun, because if you don't have fun in life and in what you're doing, there's no point in doing anything.
Absolutely not. I love that. And can you tell us a little bit about your journey? Okay. How did you start and where are you today? And please don't be shy, Dave. People would love to hear how you started and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, I grew up you know, in you know, some rough circumstances. Like they weren't the ideal, you know, way to live life, and my life was going down a path that wasn't a good path. And I got a call from a pastor at a church, and you know, he's a guy that I had known for, you know, quite a few years, and he said, "Hey man, I want you to come, you know, join this discipleship program." And I said, "A discipleship program? I don't know, man. I don't think I can be around all these Christian people, man. I don't think I can do this, man. This is not I don't want to do this." And then he wore me down, and I decided to join this group, and I was around these people that had so much love and so much kindness, and just, it was an amazing experience, and it changed my life. And at the end of the program, I didn't graduate the program, but at the end of the program, when I completed it, he said, "Dave, 2 things you need to do in your life: go buy a house and start a business." And this is a true story. I left that meeting, and as I was driving back to my parents' house where I was staying at the time, there was a house for sale, and the person selling the house was Sue Eastman. I picked up the phone and I called, "Hey, Sue, are you Teddy's mom?" And Teddy was a kid I had played hockey with. And she said, "Yes, I'm selling that house." And I said, "I want to buy it." And this is back when they would sell you a house with nothing down, they just wanted the arm and the interest, right? So I bought the house, and then got to my parents' house, and I said, "Hey, Mom, I need to start a business." We filled out a business license online, didn't even know how to do it. I printed 1,000 flyers for mow, edge, blow, weed, prune. Went to Kinko's, picked them up, said, "God, if you want me to be in business, I'm going to pass these flyers out. Someone's going to hire me." Went out, door hung 1,000 flyers. Someone called. I was so nervous because I drove a Mazda 929, so I parked 2 blocks away and walked up because I didn't have a truck. Got into the backyard and was probably spent 30 minutes deciding, should I charge $30 or $25? 30 or 25? I don't even know. 25, and I got the deal, and it started all from there. And I grew that, and that was the start of my entrepreneurial journey, man. That's where it all came from.
That's an amazing story. Amazing story. This was not the start, but I got to share. Like I had a financial business. It was doing really well. Then 08, 09 happened, 07, 08 happened. I had to kind of change some stuff. Then for the first time in my life, took a job. And then I started my marketing business in 2012. And I just quit my job. I quit a pretty nice paying job. And my first client was my doctor, my personal doctor. Like, he was always
Nice.
upset by me. And I was like, hey, we can get you, you're such a good doctor. We can get you more clients, blah, blah, blah. On the way there, I stopped at not Kinko's, but Staples. I printed business cards. I had no idea what I was going to charge him. And I was like, oh, I remember the print in Staples. I remember it had like this compass logo, one of those Staples
Yep.
logos. That was the first time. And that was the first day of my business. I closed my first business. Of course, I didn't price it right, but that's how you start, right? But I
Neither
love
did I.
it. I love it. That's awesome.
Similar beginnings.
Absolutely. So from there, you started your business. You started like, basically door to door, $30, helping people with their lawns. How did they grow to the empire that you're going over today?
Man, I think that the thing that I knew early on, and that was always in my mind, was that, like, doing the work doesn't allow you to grow, right? And so I think I hired an employee before I should have, right? Like, I hired a guy to come do the one lawn I had with me, and that was just like, get it moving. And the deal was that in the beginning, I'd work 3 days a week: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday to Monday off. I loved it. Like, I was living this perfect life. I worked 3 days a week. I paid the bills. But as an entrepreneur, you keep going, right? And so I decided, okay, I'm going to hire crews. We're going to grow for 5 days a week, 6 days a week, and then just hired guys and stopped being out there. And, we grew that to, I think we were hit 3 million by the third year in business, right? I did 70,000 the first year, and then 3 million by the third year, by the end of the third year.
I want everybody to listen to what you just said, because that's pretty miraculous. So Dave got into business, and in the first year he did 70,000. Year 3, you did 3 million. Guys, understand the growth, okay, from 70 grand to 3 million. So how did you do it? You hired people, but what did you focus on to grow 70 to 3 million in 3 years or in 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I understand is that the sales engine is the most important part of the business. Like, when we go to the doctor, we're going to get the blood pressure on our arm checked, right? That's going to be the most important thing. And so what I did was, back then, the phone book was where we got business, right? We weren't on the internet. We didn't even run the business with a computer at the time. So we went to Dex Media and we said, let's take out a full page ad. And they said, for every dollar you spend, I can guarantee you will make 17. Like, they just said, we will guarantee it. The only thing you have to do is pick up the phone and answer it. And that rang true. Like, we had so many estimates and so many jobs that we couldn't even handle what we had. So it was all about crew, truck, crew, truck, crew, truck. And so just get that work out there, supervisor, managing crews and truck. And it was just, make sure you delegate. And I think that was the biggest piece of the puzzle, was be really, really good at delegating, keep your plate as clean as you possibly can. And then, I didn't know it at the time, but what you would call right people, right seats was important. Like, don't move people who are great at their job to supervisory roles. Let them continue to execute where they're at, and then hire managers who have the skill set to be managers. That is what allowed us to hit that number at the end of year 3.
You dropped so much wisdom just now in that little paragraph. So sales is the lifeline of a business. And this is so funny, man. Like, I work with a lot of service companies, and we build AI tools to help them with sales, and we do advertising. And I just spoke to a guy. I love the dude. I'm not going to name him. Super cool dude. I should introduce you to him. You guys are very similar. But he's like, we are doing all kinds of ads and AI and stuff for him. And we're getting a lot of phone calls in, but they're not getting the sales in. So I told him, hey, let's put a system that measures all these things. We're spending so much money getting the calls. I want to see why they're not booking, because I don't see, any logic in it. It took 2-3 months, and it's $500 a month. It's not any like crazy amount to invest. It was like, we're just starting. The minute we did that, sales improved literally 55%.
Wow.
Okay. So sometimes, guys, when you're trying to get sales and you're putting ads out there, you need to know what's going on. You got to delegate. You're not going to be the one answering the phones, right? But you got to have a system to figure out, because almost every service company I've ever went to, part of their phones cost them between 10 and literally 55% of sales. Does that something you see in your business?
Yeah, I think let me take it like one step further. I think even in today, right? Let's go forward, 22 plus years. Let's go forward. Even today, the number one thing is answering the phone or responding to the email or responding to the online request or responding to the portal request. I believe that if you do not respond to that inquiry within 10 seconds, you have failed. Like that's the benchmark that I want to set. You have 10 seconds to respond. No matter how you respond, you have to respond fast. And what I find is that the majority of people in a home services business, like let's say landscaping or pressure washing or janitorial or concrete, it doesn't matter, whatever you're doing, the majority of these leads come in between 6 and 9 p.m. Why? That's when people are off. That's when people aren't working. So like your sales schedule isn't built around what you think is comfortable for your life. Like you will not close deals. So when I'm in service-based business, what I want to see is a salesperson who works Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Why do I want them working the weekend? Because that's when the buyers are home. I want them meeting when the buyers are home. And I don't want them starting at 8 in the morning like the rest of the team. I want them starting at noon. Why? I want them to work till 9 o'clock at night every single day, because the customers are purchasing at night. They're doing the appointments at night. So you change the way that you do it. And then finally, Harvard Business Review says that 70% of direct buy customers, meaning they found you and they contacted you, buy within 24 hours. So setting the appointment within 24 hours and then getting your bid to the customer within 24 hours increases your close rate by massive percentage points. The minute that you come out of that 24 hours, your bids just went down. You lost 2/3 of the opportunity to close. If you want to know why you're not closing, it's the speed of execution.
Love that, man. Love that. So now I'm going to interject. Do you see AI changing this in any way? Do you use AI in any way to make sure that everything is answered in 10 seconds?
We use AI as much as we can, but we don't use AI to get to that 10-second response time. That's a human interaction, right? And that's one of the toughest things to manage. Like, so we set the metrics, we can track how long it took to respond, what our response times are on the different portals or in email. We can track that. And that's what we bonus our people on. So we incentivize them by hitting that goal. Hey, if all of your calls are under this time frame, you're going to get $1,000 bonus at the end of the month, right? That helps drive that behavior with money, right? We know that money is what drives the behavior, so that's how we drive it. But what I see with AI is that AI has that capability to respond to that customer with more efficiency, with more quickness than the human does. It's just about building out the platform and the technology and training it to respond how you want it to respond and connect. And I think that as we develop in AI and we get better at AI, that's the game changer. Like if you're not using AI, you're going to go out of business, because what I just explained to you is very expensive, very labor intensive, and it takes the right person. Not every person is going to respond that way. And it takes a lot of hunting to find that person. When you can just build the AI bot to do it, you will be heads and tails above your competitors.
100%. And you can build 10 AI agents that work for one salesperson. So you still have that, human element, but the AI handles everything it needs to handle until, the moment that the salesperson. But I love that. I think service businesses needs to focus on AI. And I know it's hard for for service business people to wrap their heads around it, but you got to look at how to cut some expenses, how to increase some opportunities, start small, but AI is huge. So there's a lot of entrepreneurs here that are watching us. What is your best advice, Dave, of what entrepreneurs need to do on a daily basis? We all know it's a grind. We have good days and bad days. I'll be honest, yesterday I didn't have the best day. I had a lot of crappy meetings, a lot of stuff going on. I had a fight with with an IT guy that was really, really annoying and obnoxious, and I may have lost a client about that, but I'm all good with that. So bad day. But what would you recommend to entrepreneurs to keep the flame going? What do you do every day, Dave, that allows you to continue?
I have two things, and I think these are the most important things in the entire world. Like everything revolves around this. Okay. One, the way that you start your day, in my opinion, is away from your cell phone. I think that this is so important. Like when you wake up in the morning, like the first thing that I do is meditate, pray, focus for an hour. I take an hour and I don't do anything outside of just work on my own mental capability. Then next, I do
When do you
some
wake
kind of.
up, Dave?
What time do I get up? I get up at about 4 a.m., sometimes 3:30, but I start at 4 a.m.
Okay. When do you go to sleep?
I go to sleep around somewhere between 9 and 10.
Gotcha. So you basically you live with the sun. Like when the sun's out, or even more than that, the Dave's out. When it's dark outside, you're sleeping.
That's right. That's pretty much how I do it. But I maximize my day, right? Like I like to be up early. I like to be focused. And then what happens is I'm in devotion. I'm in self-help. I'm reading my Bible. That's me, not for everybody, but for me. And then I start my day, right? Because now my mind is prepared. My mind is clean. It's fresh. It's ready to go. And I'm ready to kill it. And then next is, what are the top 3 things that I have to accomplish today to win the day, that are going to allow me to accomplish and win the week, that attribute to my end of the year goal? Like if my end of the year goal is to say, hey, in this business, I want to do $1 million, then I better be doing 3 things today that are going to help me hit that goal at the end of the year. And so I'm going to write down my top 3 things, and come life or death, I'm going to accomplish those 3 things. And the reason why that is so important, if you've ever written a book or you've ever tried to accomplish something and you're writing a book and it's 3:30 in the morning and you just finished a chapter and you crushed it, and you're like, yeah, that's awesome. I just put in 25 hours, but you feel amazing. What happens is when we accomplish tasks, we release endorphins into our body. And when you have those 3 most important tasks that you can get done and accomplish in a day, you release those endorphins and you feel an incredible sense of accomplishment. And when you do that, you can grind 7 days a week, 18, 20 hours a day, and you will feel like a champion and never burn out because you are accomplishing tasks. When you put 20 tasks on your list and you get 2 of them done, you leave feeling like a failure. So accomplish 3 things in a day and then get the rest of your work done.
Dave, you should write a book, man, unless you already have. But you have so much advice that like anybody can do. Okay. Anybody can wake up early. Anybody can take an hour. I don't wake up as early as you. Maybe I should tweak it a little bit, but I wake up and first thing I do is I do 10 push-ups. I get out of bed, I do 10 push-ups to get my blood going.
Yep.
Then I drink a big glass of water. I don't know if you guys can see it, with lemon and salt and a little bit of cayenne pepper to kind of get my stuff going. Then I ground. I don't know if you ever ground, Dave. I found that grounding in sun for me in the morning is a must. At 4:30, there's no sun, so you can't do it. But around 6, 7 a.m., I love to get out and for 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes, just get some sun and ground, meaning stand on earth without shoes. I don't know if you've ever read about that. I can share with you. It balances your whole system. We're electric and magnetic. And when we wear plastic or rubber shoes, we're basically disconnecting from the ground. So that's something that I would love for you to try. Grounding, it is such a powerful thing. So I drink, I ground, and then I do some breathing and meditation. And I don't know if you know, but I do this thing called the Wim Hof breathing meditation.
I know this. Yeah.
Love it. And it's, dude, I can be in the worst freaking mood. I can want to kill the world. I do this and I'm centered. Okay, we can get things going. So love your morning routine. And everybody, I want you to write down. Dave, how did you learn this? How did you come? You didn't start this way, but how did you learn how to manage your life the way you do now?
I'm going to tell you how I learned how to do this. This is a good story. I learned this because the entrepreneurial journey is brutal. It's tough. It's horrible. It's miserable. It's disgusting. 75% of businesses are gone after 15 years. And what I learned was that, like, if you don't turn it off, it'll never turn off. It goes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You can be on Christmas at 9 o'clock at night, have all of your emails checked, your inbox empty. You can go to sleep and wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and have 53 emails. And you're like, how in the world did this even happen? It never stops. And so the number one thing that I have to do to be great is to take care of myself. And I can't take care of myself if I don't take care of myself in the morning, because the minute I'm on that phone and checking emails, oh, I can't believe that happened. 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 Oh, I got to fix this. You are just right to it. You're not giving your mind a chance to reset. You're not giving your spirit a chance to reset. You're not giving yourself time to ground. I love that grounding technique that you use. You're not giving yourself time to be a human. And what happens is that's what destroys entrepreneurs. Why do 20% of businesses fail in the first year? Why are 40% gone at year 5? Why are 75% gone at 15? It's because this is the toughest thing that you can ever do. Why do only 1% of businesses, 1% out of all the businesses make 10 million or more? Why out of every franchise business, think of every franchise, Subway, Marriott, McDonald's, hotels, whatever it is, average about $750,000 a year in total gross income, everything combined. It's because you are ran ragged, and emails and phone have only made it worse. So take your time. And I have learned that by driving myself insane, blowing up a couple of businesses, and, having failure, but not quitting and looking back saying, what do I need to do? What's the most important thing in my life? And the most important thing in my life is my morning and my health, which is why I have the 5 pillars.
You can have a million problems in life, Dave, until you have a health problem. Then you have only one. That is one of the biggest truths I've ever learned. And I've been on a health journey. And if you ever want, I truly health journey. For instance, people are going to think I'm crazy. I have been in a fasted state. I've been drinking a lot of water, but in a fasted state for the past 40 hours. Okay. Now, that's something that also balances me both mentally. Like, I feel so much sharper now than I do after eating a full meal. And this is something that really helps me. And of course I eat. And after I finish this fast, I'm going to eat some really good food. But stopping eating is something that revolutionized my life, man. My wife is a little pissed with me right now. She's like, are you fasting today? Are you? Because, we want to eat together. But fasting and grounding are 2 things that I would really challenge you to try. It's hard in the beginning. I truly believe that we eat not because we need to, just because we're addicted to it. What do I mean? Our ancestors didn't eat 3 meals a day with snacks and drinks and sodas and, all this amounts of sugar. We eat today 500% more sugar than our grandparents used to eat. So right. We're just eating so much too much. And I truly feel like when you stop eating, just like meditation, just like waking up early, it cleans you up. And I'm not saying go crazy, you got to eat, but every week I try to do a fast of at least 24 hours. Try to get it sometimes up to 48. Every quarter I try to do a 72-hour fast. And Dave, we're not kids anymore, but I feel better today than I did in my 30s.
I feel outstanding, and I do the same with the fasting. Like, I like to say 6 p.m. Sunday night, that's my last meal, then eat Monday, 6:30 p.m. Get your 24 hours in, like that 1 day fast once a week. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
Awesome. Now, a lot of questions are coming in. Okay. There is some questions about AI tools that you use to help yourself organize. So is there any tools that you use, Dave, to keep yourself going?
I mean, I use ChatGPT every day, right? I know there's better tools than that or whatnot. I use Microsoft Copilot. I think those are the 2 that I focus on and use today. Do they help me stay organized? I don't know if they help me stay organized outside of just managing and utilizing my calendar, because I'm a big proponent of fill your calendar up and defend your time. Like, if somebody says, hey, can you go to a ball game? Well, if it's somebody that you really want to have connection with, maybe a first date, absolutely, let's go. If it's somebody that you kind of know and you're like, let me check my calendar, right? It's kind of like the blow off. Let me see if I can fit this in. So, defend your calendar, own your calendar, live your calendar. But I think that AI, the more that you build into AI, the better you're going to be, and the better you're going to be able to calendar and schedule what you do.
So let me challenge you here with something, because I think we got to look at AI a little bit differently. So you and I have been around when the internet started, right?
Yep.
Do you know anybody in business today that doesn't have an internet, his own website?
No.
No. You and I were both around when the smartphone, of course, we were already in business when the smartphone exploded. Do you
Yep.
know a single businessman that doesn't have a smartphone?
No.
No. AI is the third revolution. Okay, that's how I see it. Now, AI is moving faster and better than both internet and smartphone combined, actually. So what I want everybody to understand is the same way that we all have our own smartphones and our own websites, we will have our own AI. Okay, there will be a Dave Westcott AI in a few years. I guarantee it. Every company you own will have their own AI. It will be an AI employee that works for that company, that's loyal to that company. It's not an agent from ChatGPT. What people need to understand, that ChatGPT, as amazing as they are, and I love ChatGPT, I use it every day, it works for itself and it's trying to grow its own data. But you need an AI. Every company will need, every mother, every physician, every driver, Dave. Everybody is going to have their own custom AI. If you have an AI that knows you completely, knows how you write, how you say, you will just talk to that AI and that AI will respond to everything you need. It will call your team. It will use your voice. Like, people are not understanding where this is going. The same way that you have your own phone and your own website, you will have your own AI. Mark my words. And I'm not talking about 10
I'm
years.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's happening already, man. All the big companies are doing it. I'll share something with you. This is super experimental, but let me share this with you. Let's find the right one to share.
I'm going to have a good time naming my AI. That's what I'm going to do. What do I call it? Is my AI going to have kids? I don't know. Like, it's there's some excitement around the whole thing.
So do you see my screen right now?
Yep.
What you're seeing is what we call a RAG, a retrieval augmented generation. So this is a secured RAG that you can load up. For instance, this is an article I wrote, the AI roadmap for financial marketers, that just got processed. So we're putting it in. As you see, it's processing it right now. And then I can basically query it anything I want about this. I can then build bigger databases. So now you can talk to an AI just about your business, and the AI will know all the information that you bring into it. So now this is your own AI that doesn't communicate, unless you ask it, with anything else except your data and your documentation. This is so powerful, guys. Everybody's gonna need something like this. Literally,
that's amazing.
Everybody. And sometimes you do RAGs for certain use cases. Like, you can have a RAG for sales, you can have a RAG for marketing, you can have a RAG for technicians. But sometimes you can just have a RAG that has all of the information of your company. So that 10-second response, that's something that RAG can take care of exactly the way the best salesperson does it, and then create results for you. Guys, I'm learning a lot. Dave, thank you. This is one of the most educational lives I've had, and I'm writing things down. I would love to hear from our audience. Dave has really built. Can you tell us kind of where you are today, Dave? We know where you started, but can you share with us where you are today? And guys, I would love to have some questions to Dave about his entrepreneurial journey and how you can hopefully take some inspiration and start your own journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, today I'm at the point where, I won't say that we're like a investment fund, but we invest in business and we don't run the day-to-day of the business. So, there's about 8 businesses out there that we have stake in, that we have ownership in, but we don't run them, right? So, like we have a bee farm. We don't run the bee farm. We don't work in the day-to-day of it. We have a paving business. We don't run it. We don't do anything with it, maybe other than having a meeting once a week. We have a design business, a property management business, a real estate investment firm, a facility management company. These are just things that we have. We have a call center. We have, there's a lot that goes on, but we don't run the day-to-day. We're not responsible for the execution of the work. We're just responsible for the investment, the guiding, and the coaching of those individuals running those businesses. So that's really where we're at today in our portfolio, and we're always looking at ways to grow and expand. The goal is to build a business that does 1 billion in revenue, and that puts 100 million a year back into charitable causes.
Wow, that's an amazing goal. So I don't know how far away you are from that goal, but I know you're going to make it. So $1 billion in revenue and $100 million going to charity from that revenue stream. That's amazing. Now, how do you choose the businesses you invest in?
I'm looking for a business that, one, we can. So I like to get a business that can be built up to about 15 million in revenue. That's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that's going to have a 10 to 15% EBITDA, and that can be managed with a small team of maybe under 20 people. I like that because I want to get that business to that $15 million revenue mark. And then what I want to do is I want to sell that business, and I want to exit that business in 5 to 7 years. So I don't want to be in any one business for longer than a 7-year period. If I feel like if we're in it for that long, it's becoming a career, and I don't want it to be a career. So we're looking for fast cash. We're looking for things that are simple and easy to grow. We like service-based or things that people need. Like, there's a lot of talk about tariffs, and I'm not going to get political about it, but at the end of the day, when I have a business, I want that business secure enough that I don't care if there's tariffs, I don't care if there's COVID, and I don't care if there's an economic downturn. I've been through the economic downturn of 2002, 2008, COVID in 2000 and whatever, and now whatever this tariff thing is going to produce. So if your business is something that people always need, you're always okay. And those are the type of businesses that I'm looking at investing in. I don't want to invest in a business that can go away if the economy goes away. Like, that's not, I'm not interested in anything like that. I need something that you have to have. Like, you have to have snow removal, I'm going to do that, right? You have to have electrical, I'm going to do that. So those are the things that I'm looking for in a business.
Love that. So we have a question here. What has been your hardest lesson as an entrepreneur?
That's a great question. And I think the biggest lesson that I learned as an entrepreneur, well, there's two of them. Okay. And I think they're both pretty equal, but the number one is invest in yourself. Like, in the beginning of business or time in business, you're like, I can't take a week away to go to that conference. I can't take an hour out of my day to have this coach. I can't take this time to read the book. Like, the time that you invest in yourself is the number one job of a CEO outside of making sure the business has cash. If you're not learning and leveling up, you can't grow and scale. So you limit yourself by what you do to yourself mentally. And then number two, hardest lesson is, like, let's say you have a project manager and the project manager that you want to hire wants $125,000 a year, but they're absolutely incredible and they're going to absolutely crush it and kill it. And you're just like, man, that's more than I'm paying myself right now. I'm only paying myself $65,000. And you're looking at that and you're like, I'm going to hire this other project manager who's $75,000. And what you did was you just hired a C player. And what's going to happen is you're going to get C results. And if you hire that $125,000 manager, what will you actually accomplish? Like, if you hire the 8 player at the A player cost, what will happen is you'll actually make more money, you'll make more profit, because you won't turn your customers over. And you can lose millions and millions of dollars in your business by not paying for the right talent and the right person. So fork up the cash, get it over with. And I have this philosophy that in life, when I'm purchasing something, I only want to cry once, and that's the first time I buy it. I don't want to cry twice, the first time I buy it and after I get the results. So only cry once is probably the second biggest lesson in business.
I have a funny story. Okay.
All right.
I don't like spending on myself. I love spending on others. I don't like spending on myself. I never see a need. Back in the day, I got a super expensive Toomey bag. Like, it was 15 years ago. Yeah. At the time, it probably cost like, I don't know, 3, 4, or 5 grand, which at the time was also a lot of money. And I was thinking I would never have bought that for myself. And Till this day, I travel everywhere with that freaking Toomey bag. It's the best bag I've ever had. If you count the amount of travels I've done with my bag compared to what I paid for it, it's probably cents for every time I took it somewhere. Now, I know
Yep.
it's completely different, but quality is quality. And you can pay somebody 50 grand and he doesn't know anything of what to do, or you can pay someone 150 and they can help you grow. So I love that. It took me a long time to learn. I used to be a cheapskate, but love that. That's great. We have another question. Despite all the challenges and changes happening everywhere, how did you stay in the game? How did you sustain?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think you're always reinventing yourself. I would say every 3 to 5 years, your business should have a massive switch. Like if I was still mowing lawns, like on my original flyer, mow, edge, blow, weed, prune, I'd probably be doing $1 million a year. I'd have dirt under my fingernails. I'd be living in a broke down house, driving a broke down truck with gasoline stains on my t-shirt. At the end of the day, like what we're
Not that there's
focusing on.
anything wrong with that, but
No, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's good for a lot of folks. But like at the end of the day, like if you want to go to the next level, you have to put yourself in the position to go to the next level. So keep learning, keep leveling up. And then how do you stay in the game? I think look at the top 5 people in your life. Who are your top 5 friends, your top 5 acquaintances? And look at that circle, because you are the average of those top 5 people. So if you want to be a billionaire, your goal should be to make friends with 5 billionaires. Like that's one of my goals. Hey, I want to make friends with 5 billionaires. I'm friends with 3 billionaires. So like I'm on the path to do that. Why is that important? Well, there now 4. So like
introduce me. No, I'm not there.
All right. Well, someday. But
I'm chasing you, man. You'll get there, and I'll get there after. I'm gonna really focus on trying to learn. Dude, I've learned so much from this live. We've been doing this for 40 minutes now. I think you're so simply brilliant, and your advice are so good, guys. I want you all to follow Dave. You also have a podcast that is amazing, The Entrepreneurial Journey. The stuff that you do, follow Dave on LinkedIn. You're such a great parent. I've never met your kids, but I know them because I see them on LinkedIn. I see the devotion you have for them. Dude, you're freaking amazing. I'm so happy we did this live. And please let everybody know how they can reach out to you, maybe how they can ask you questions. But this was amazing.
Yeah, hit me up on LinkedIn, Dave Westcott. You can see my picture; it's right there, Dave Westcott. Hit me up on LinkedIn. Send me a DM. I'd love to connect, love to chat, love to help you with anything in your business. It's a long journey, and I figure like this: it's a simple solution. You want to go far, go together. You want to go fast, go alone. You decide which path you take.
I want to go far, and I want to go together. And Dave, I would love to build this friendship. I would love to have you here again. This is such a great piece for everybody out there. And I admire you. I admire what you do. And thank you for being such a great guest, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been an honor to be on the show.
Love it. Guys, we'll try to bring Dave back maybe next month to share some more about the entrepreneurial journey. Thank you. And this was so valuable for us. Everybody, see you next week.